like a battle or a struggle with the personality, power, temptation, light and dark, Pluto Sun square. He's got that Jupiter square Venus, Jupiter square Neptune. That's boy, it's almost kind of an over gratuitous nature. So it wants more. It wants more. Poor guy that he doesn't have any Earth in his chart. No Earth at all. No cardinal either. Just that true node in Aries. Everything else is fixed and mutable. Fire, air, water. So he's not an initiator. And he's not grounded. Fascinating. He's got a quintile between the Moon and Venus. And a biquintile with Saturn and Uranus and Saturn and Pluto. And a quintile with the true node and Mars. And for those of you who are not familiar with the quintiles and the biquintiles, they're very fascinating aspects. They're at 144 and 67 degrees. Or no, it's 144, so it's 72 degrees. Yeah, 72 and 144. And these aspects have to do with mastery and spiritual genius. I mean, he's got a fair amount of them in his chart. They're fascinating, these quintiles and biquintiles. These are the hidden gifts, and they're prodigious gifts if you have them in the chart. I only have one quintile on my chart. I think more than one would have made me insufferable. Anyway, he's got quite a few. And Saturn and the biquintile with Uranus and with Pluto, when we get into Saturn, we get into culture. And we get into the world at large. And the biquintile to Uranus and Pluto is change, transformation. Fascinating stuff. And the father is also Saturn as well. So the Donald, the president, is in his expression of the biquintile. The other thing that I found that was really interesting is Donald Trump's uncle, John. I found this out yesterday. He is a nuclear physicist. And when the United States government finally found Tesla's body after he was completely wrecked by people like J.P. Morgan and Thomas Edison, consigned to living in a crap hole hotel, and he finally died, they had all of his papers. And guess who they called in to go over Tesla's papers? It was John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. Basically, if they were all there and intact, he got the keys to the kingdom. Could you imagine that? So Trump's uncle, obviously, is a nuclear physicist. The guy's a bright guy. He's a bright dude. And you stumble upon Tesla's papers? Are you kidding me? That's like Indiana Jones stumbling upon the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, you've just found the most important information probably in modern history, maybe even in history total. And if you have the software to comprehend that stuff, you think he just had looked at it and go, oh, this is interesting. Passed along? No, I bet you that guy was taking notes. He's probably saying, holy shit, what I found. So the chatter is that John Trump stumbled upon time travel. That's the chatter. He's actually John Teeter. John Trump is John Teeter. Could be. I don't know. There's a lot of weird timeline stuff with Trump, which we've talked about. Now, the reason this came up was because I think it was yesterday, I posted this interview that Trump was doing in 2011 with Piers Morgan. And in the interview, he's, of course, running down Anthony Weiner because they got into some kind of a debate. And Trump uses the word Pizzagate and then Wienergate. This is in 2011, and it's like, wow, this is interesting. Why was he talking about Pizzagate in 2011? Now, apparently, he had a pizza with Sarah Palin at a hotel or a restaurant in New York, and Trump used a fork and a knife because Trump is phobic. He's a germaphobe. He's not going to pick up the pizza. Somebody noticed, and they wrote a story about it, and he thought it was scandalous, and he started to call it Pizzagate. At least in that moment he did. But what's weird about that, what's very strange about it, I mean, and one could look at it from an isolated event, but he's talking about it in conjunction with Anthony Weiner, and it's Anthony Weiner who's one of the linchpins of Pizzagate. Now, Andrew Breitbart was around then, I believe. I think Breitbart, when did he die? Was it 2010 or 2011? Might have been 2010. Now, maybe Trump knew about Pizzagate through Breitbart because Breitbart had alluded to this before he died. Or maybe it was just a coincidence. Or maybe, excuse me, maybe Trump is a time traveler. And there are people that think he is. There's so many strange things about this whole Trump time travel thing. Like, for instance, if you look at Back to the Future 2, and Biff's, I believe it's father, or Biff from the, I think it's Biff from the future, from the far future. Biff from the far future finds the time travel manual from Doc, and then travels in time to give it to young Biff, who then turns himself into a Trumpian-like figure. And it's not a great portrayal, by the way, but it's fascinating. And there's this whole kind of relationship with time and events and all the things that kind of came true in Back to the Future, albeit to some extent a year later. Like when the Cubs won the World Series, it was 1 year after they were supposed to win in Back to the Future. It's 2016 versus 2015. But still, they won. It makes one ponder over the significance. It's fascinating stuff. Excuse me. I have a tickle in my throat. So you can check me out on the latest edition of Open Minds with Regina. And I got a really nice message on Facebook last night from Alex Fulton over on the Kitchen Sink. And they do a show called Always Record. And I've been having these really psychic experiences lately where I'll think about somebody or think about something, and boom, there they are. Apparently the Schumann resonance is rising, and we're getting new waves of radiation coming at us, raising the frequency, raising our vibration, so that we can deal with these clowns that want to hack our biosuits and our attention constantly. So Alex Fulton asked me if I wanted to be on Always Record. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. I love those kitchen sink dudes. Sometimes the Astro Sinks or the syncs themselves. It's like, where is it going? Where is it going? Where is it going? Right? Sometimes I want to know. I'm a Virgo. I want to know. But I'm pretty honored that they want to have me on their show. But I had that saying in my head, always record, because that's their program. Always record, always record. 2 days later, boom, there he is. Asked me if I want to be on the show. I'll be thinking about people, and boom, there they are. And you know how we always do that? It's happening faster now. It's happening much faster. I promise that'll be my last cough. Second to last. You know who gets into intense coughing fits is Regina. Like because she talks so much. This is what happens when you talk a lot. She talks so much, she'll go into a coughing spell. And sometimes we'll have to stop the recording and she'll get it together. And that's just the nature of things. So when she works, she works her butt off. She works really hard. Really, really hard. So today, I was writing about Barron Trump, because I'm putting a piece up on my website about all the stuff I'm talking about. And I was writing about his mind. And as I'm typing the word mind, I had my iTunes on. I had it on shuffle. I've been playing iTunes on shuffle a lot lately because it's fun. I'm discovering songs in albums that I wouldn't normally listen to. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And I clearly would not have played this one song. It was called by a group called Club de Elf. And the name of the track was Power of Mind. So just as I'm typing mind, Power of Mind comes on, and I was typing about the power of Barron Trump's mind. How weird is that? I know. Somebody keeps banging me on Facebook. Okay, who is it? Oh, my friend. It's my good friend. Okay. All right. Chemtrail fluid, February 25th. Yeah, they were spraying last night. God, these people. Can't believe it. I can't believe it. Just give it a break. Give it a rest. Please. Please give it a rest. Well, let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring this up. UC Berkeley. I found this on this little news site called Patch. I still subscribe to it because I follow things in the Bay Area. So UC Berkeley had all their lectures up on YouTube. Now, you may not agree with a lot of the content, but come on, that's pretty cool, right? All their content is up there. All these different lectures. You could just go on there and figure it out. Wow, this is great. Well, there are 20,000 of these lectures on YouTube. 20,000. It's a lot. Now, I'm not sure if all of them were on YouTube, but I'm sure quite a few of them were. Anyway, they had 2 complaints. That the videos were not closed captioned. And so they pulled the entire catalog from YouTube. They pulled all the lectures, and for them to go through every single lecture, which maybe 3 or 4 people might watch, or maybe 20 people or 100 people might watch. They have to do closed caption for every single lecture. and that's going to cost well over $1 million.